Okay, so I am going to talk here about JRed. I first heard JRed at Hip Hop for Flint, a charity event which I went to help raise awareness and money for the victims of the Flint, Michigan water crisis. And there I heard this artist called JRed, where he gave me his album and I saw him perform. His performance was pretty live. You know what I mean? He had a lot of bangers, um, and bangers just perform well. What can I say? You just get into that zone and you just kind of like, you know what I mean? Get a little two step or a little bounce, a little hop, and you just like, flow with it. And J-Red, I feel like, is at his most comfortable making that dark brand of trap influenced music. He talks a lot of drugs, talks a lot about swagger. When I came into this project before the fame, that's pretty much where I feel like I got what I expected. And I also feel like that's where J Red is at his most comfortable. He kind of reminds me of like a mixture of like Little Ugly Man, Denzel Curry, and Big Sean. And I say that because he just has like, when he's doing his best songs to me, he has like that dark flavored trap that you might expect from like Little Ugly Man's bangers. He has a little bit of that Denzel Curry like aggressiveness to his like trap bars at times. And the Big Sean element is to me like his kind of weakest element, where it's like one of my biggest problems with Big Sean is the fact that he lacks like, any specifics or any super non-generic things to like lynch onto and make him more interested. And unfortunately, I think that on this album we have a little bit of that, like, I guess, more generic side of things, but I'll get to that later. It's definitely not bad by any means. It's just I wish I got a little bit more personality at certain points. To start this album off, we have a banger in Ola, which just is like a really boastful track. We see Jay Red talking about how he's gonna, be self-made and rise up to the occasion and just, get his hustle on. It's a really dark trap influence beat, which he rides really well. And I feel like this is a very good opener because this is where he's most comfortable, or I feel like his tracks end up coming the best. It's like, beat is good, the rhymes are good, it's a fun track, and I'm feeling it a lot. One of my favorite songs on the album. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about one of my other favorite songs on this album, Motivation, which is very interesting because it is a hip hop beat that has an electric guitar on it. And I feel like this is hard to do well in 2016. I feel like it's really easy to make a song with an electric guitar that's forced or natural, but this one really comes off really, really natural and it feels good. It's a song about motivating yourself to do better. It's really positive. I like that. You know what I mean? It's really hard to make good, positive music that's not preachy or annoying. And this wasn't. This was really good. I like it. I fuck with it. You should fuck with it too. Okay, so Top Rocks comes in a little bit later on the album and really gives the album like a really higher upbeat little feel. It's just a track where he gets into more into his, motivational spiel, where he's, trying to stay on topic, get his life together, get his money up, work hard, rap, achieve his dreams, you know what I mean? Like, he's really about his business, and he's, gonna let you know that he stays on topic, guy. One of the better tracks, and just really enjoyed it. It was nice. It was nice. And now I want to talk about the last two songs, Test Beat and CED. Test Beat is one of the more interesting songs on the album. I feel like Test Beat is JRed getting to what he really wants to achieve in life. He talked about, working hard a lot on this album, and I think this is just more clearly defines like his like mentality and his and what his drive is all about. And it's a pretty fun track. The beat is sounds like kind of Drake-ish type of like started from the bottom style of beat, like pretty simplistic. It's a little bit lower fidelity than something you would expect from Drake, but it's still, solid beat. And the last track I want to talk about, you know what I mean, in this little section is CED, which I actually think is the most interesting song on the album, because JRed actually talks about like his life and his struggles in like specifically. He talks about getting kicked out of college and his grind and his struggle, and he gets a lot more personable than he is on the rest of the project, and it really makes this track, along with the track before it, stand out on the album, because you know this brings me kind of into what I didn't like about this project. And I'm gonna look at this album for a little bit, and this album is 20 tracks long. This album probably would have done better if it cut, like 5 to 7 tracks and was just like the best of what's left, because towards the middle of this project, JRed just starts really repeating a lot of the themes that he already went over. So it just gets a bit repetitive in the middle, because really most of his tracks tend to boil down to really staying on the grind. Tracks like No Function, Go Crazy, Money Mentality, the mixes on them were not up to par with the rest of the album. Um, we have a few beats that aren't as good as the rest of the album. And I think that if he had just cut down these tracks, it would have kept the whole project as a whole a lot more interesting, because you wouldn't get much overlap of subject matter for all of these songs. And also, I think that the best tracks on here are a lot better than the worst tracks on this album. Now, this is not to say that this is bad listen. Probably will end up like pulling a bunch of singles off of this album to listen to motivate me when I need that pickup in life, and I need to motivate myself to move forward. It's really dope to see artists make positive music, like I said, and seems like a good guy. I enjoyed this listen. It was fun. If you're a fan of trap influence music, trap influence motivational music, maybe even, then I would definitely say you should give this a listen. Um, JRed from Miami by way of Cleveland. This is Absolute Zero, Defender of the Universe, and I will see you in space. Peace.